all right.
Kenny, what did you think the biggest issue was tonight?
I think it's the psychology of sports, right? I think they took one on the chin, a tough defeat, and they came in here desperate. We scored 146 points against Minnesota. Get a little on your high horse, which we have no right to do. And, sometimes the psychology of this is the most important thing. So they were desperate. They were physical. They won the aggressive match, And then we get in a hole 19-4, right? We have to come back. And then the third quarter again, right out of the gate, they score 14 straight. That's our starters, So, they won I think they won the, mental battle. And I guess I got to do a better job of, putting appropriate fear. And this is the NBA. It's like, Utah Jazz, they got a lot of talent out there. And like I said, I think they were desperate. We just kind of played.
You've used that phrase, appropriate fear, a few times throughout the season. What can you do to ensure that your team plays with that?
I don't listen. These guys are pros. They know the circumstances. Sometimes, you have a letdown, and a little bit of a letdown. You think it's going to be easy. You think it's going to come easy, and that team came in here. They did not want to get embarrassed again. They were, they took a tough loss. We try to warn them verbally, right? Like, hey, these guys, they're going to be ready tonight. They're going to bounce back. I don't, you just got to somehow turn your mentality. I thought offensively, we just kept kind of running into a brick wall. I felt like, and I like we were trying to get in the paint, but we struggled. I think we were 19 of 41 in the paint. Someone said something like that. Like, we got to the paint but couldn't finish. But I think a lot of those are reads. You got two guys on, you got to dump it off, or you got to read the game. So I don't think our reads were great when we got to the paint tonight. So I thought that was a big issue. Kept going against their big guys.
Mark, 22-19 now, Coach, at the exact midway point of the season, and I know we've kind of had some of these conversations before, but I think we're deep enough into the season where are you concerned that some of these bad habits may be seeping into the DNA of the team, or are they still correctable?
No, I think they're correctable. I think we got a good team. Games like this happen. I hate to say we would won 5 out of 7, right? Like it's not like we'd lost 5 out of 7. So we just gotta gotta keep perspective. I know it's the end of the world. It's a Utah Jazz. You can't think that way in the NBA. If you think that way, you haven't been in this league long enough. Again, I just say what was they had a mental edge and a physical edge, and we were just kind of playing. You get your tail handed to you when it's like that in this league.
Kenny, this team came in 4th in the NBA in pace, and they also obviously have Nurkic, who's on the glass all the time.
Yeah.
Those are two of the areas that you guys have struggled this season, and also the perimeter defense when they make 18 threes. When did you feel like that is going to be able to turn for you guys?
I said it before game. We got to defend better. We didn't make shots to start the game, but 19-5, they got out the gates, and then the beginning of the third quarter, 14 straight. So it's these lapses that it's not good enough. You say, well, you weren't making shots. We weren't getting stops either.
Naquan was a bright spot for you
Phenomenal
tonight. Obviously, it's the first game of the season. He's been active for a good amount. How do you manage that, knowing that he only has 50?
Yeah, we're talking a lot about what we need to do, but we need him right now. He's playing like an excellent rotation player, and he was really good tonight. So we're having those discussions. Obviously, nothing's been decided yet.
You
spoke on sports psychology as soon as he started this press conference. What do you think's going on with DeAndre right now? It seems like no matter what combination you try, just not clicking for some.
Yeah, it's not clicking. Listen, I think it's a prolonged batting slump, and it happens. It happens in we know every sport. Try to support him, trying to get him some touches with ATOs. Just not going right now. But it's part of my job is to help him. He'll snap out of it. He's too good of a player, to be playing like this. So he'll turn it around. We need him.
From someone as talented as that, is there a sense of helplessness, do you think, in that perspective, being in that situation?
I don't know. I don't know if helplessness. I know what guys do. They grind through this. They work. He's out there extra after practice. It's not like, he's just in the batting cage more. I see it. He's trying to get through the slump. He'll get through the slump. Needs to see a couple go through. I think that would help. But we just got to support him, give him confidence until he breaks out.
Right.
On DeAndre, we have a player going through something like that. How do you balance how vocal you want to be, things that you want to try, when to push, when to, just how do you, I guess, manage something like that?
I think his support, because his body of work is long. He's got a long body of work in this league. So, again, putting him on, off the bench, I think was, I think that's helped in spurts. I think it's a fit. So we tried that. I don't know. We got to figure it out because it's, I always say it's not just on the player; it's on the coaching staff too, to help him. Got to figure out how we can get him in better positions to succeed.
And to go off Ethan's question on,
Yeah.
Is there anything about his skill set recently that has stood out to you, just about how well he's fit into the rotation?
How hard he's in that. He's in that. Plays really hard bucket, right? And man. It's just impressive, and then he's shooting the ball better, and the ball's he's got better arc on his shot, feels more confident. But I love how he runs the court too, gets us easy baskets, really good cutter. He's kind of fitting into that kind of perfect role player situation.
That's one spin serve.
Kenny, you mentioned winning 5-7. You got the big win on Saturday. Is it just the mental piece that's preventing you guys from being able to sort of turn that corner and turn that into a win streak and kind of keep that consistency?
Yeah, I think it's mental piece, and I think as we get healthier, we'll get better. You have Dean Wade tonight. You put him on marketing, right? There's pieces to this. It's still we're kind of moving a lot of pieces around. You have a guy a guy like that out. So it's not an excuse. You just want everybody in their spot. So we just got to figure it out.
And Darius, never saw that for him. Is this as close to himself as he's really felt?
He's getting there. Yeah, he's getting there. He still has moments during the game. Where it bothers me, he just grinds through. I can see it, but like I said before the game, definitely better balance on a shot, definitely moving better.
Okay, let's go.